Today's lesson is Pyramids Around the World. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our program. My name is Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to continue talking about pyramids around the world. Now, remember last time we gave you a couple of examples of pyramids. Of course, the main pyramid that everybody thinks about, or the pyramids that most people think about when they hear the word pyramid, are the pyramids in Egypt there, the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. And they've got 3 big pyramids there, so check that out. And we also talked about the pyramid of Cestius in Italy. And indeed, lots of people like to travel to Italy to see the Leaning Tower and the Colosseum and stuff like that. Hey, check out this pyramid while you're there as well.
Absolutely. These 2 pyramids should be on your route, on your path, if you're a pyramid fan. Of course, Egypt's the place to go. And I also found out, this is very convenient, this Roman pyramid, the Pyramid of Cestius, it's actually in the middle of Rome. You don't even have to leave the city of Rome.
Wow.
So you can go and see the Colosseum in the morning, walk a few blocks, and you'll be able to see the Pyramid of Cestius. So, yes, these are the bargains along the Pyramid Hunter Trail. Now, for these next 2 we're going to be reading about today, well, first of all, you're going to have to go to a completely different continent on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. And even then, you're going to have to go to a few different countries, but they're definitely going to be well worth a visit. Definitely has to check out the 2 that we're going to be reading about today.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's go to Mexico now and talk about the pyramid at Teotihuacan.
Pyramid of the Sun, Mexico. Little is known about the people that built the prehistoric city of Teotihuacan, whose ancient buildings are a source of wonder to this day. The area contains a number of remarkably intact pyramids, the largest of which is the Pyramid of the Sun, a massive structure that dominates the central city. While the exact purpose of the pyramid remains a mystery, archaeologists believe it was once topped with a temple and used as a place of worship.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 intact， 这个字是形容词，意思是完好无损的或是未受损伤的。例如 remarkably, the sunken ship's cargo was still intact. 不可思议的是，那艘沉船的货物依旧完整无缺。接着我们看到名词 worship， 指信奉、敬拜，像是 The ancient Romans were known for their worship of several gods. 古罗马人以信奉多位神祇而著名。或是 The worship of the sun was very common in many ancient religions. 敬拜太阳在古老宗教信仰上非常常见。另外 worship 也可以当作动词，意思是敬神、崇拜或是礼拜。我们可以说 Local residents worship in the town's small church. 当地居民在镇上一座小教堂进行礼拜。也可以说 The people in the village worship the sun and moon as gods. 这座小镇上的人们信奉太阳和月亮为神。
Okay, so if you happen to be in Mexico and you're enjoying your visit there, you've had a plate of burritos and tacos and atole and stuff like that, well, now you need to head outside of Mexico City and check out the Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan. Of course, I think there's one for the sun there and also one for the moon. It's quite a big complex. And little is known about the people that built the prehistoric city of Teotihuacan, whose ancient buildings are a source of wonder to this day. So that, of course, is a big tourist attraction in Mexico, the pyramids outside of Mexico City. And indeed, it's a prehistoric city, which means it's a city that existed before things were written down. And, of course, we don't really know much about the people that built this prehistoric city because there just isn't a lot of information. We just have these pyramids sitting there, and they're ancient buildings, and they're a source of wonder to this day. So, of course, lots of people go there and check those pyramids out.
So absolutely fascinating for historians and archaeologists, and still a wonderful place to go. You can learn as much as they know, and I think they're probably making new discoveries every year. Now, this area, it's not just one pyramid sitting there in the jungles of Mexico. We read this area, or the area, contains a number of remarkably intact pyramids, the largest of which is the Pyramid of the Sun, a massive structure that dominates the central city. So sort of like in Giza in Egypt there, the pictures you might see are of the one biggest, most famous, most beautiful pyramid, but in that area it's a temple complex. There's a lot of other buildings, and many of them are remarkably intact. If something is intact, it's solid. It's in one piece. It's not broken. It hasn't been ripped apart or damaged or something like that. If you have a little motorcycle accident and you just bump into someone at a very slow speed, your motorcycle will probably be intact and hopefully you won't have any broken bones. But if there's a high-speed car crash in a car race, bits of the car will fly off. That car will not be intact. It will be broken into many pieces. And when you think about these pyramids and how old they are, it is remarkable. It's surprising. It's kind of amazing that they're still intact. So when we use remarkable to say something is surprising or amazing, and we use it as an adverb, we just say remarkably. So very surprisingly, amazingly intact, considering all the time which has passed. Now, this pyramid might be out there in Mexico, maybe not quite as big as the pyramids in Egypt, but it's still big. Isn't that right, Roger? It's massive.
Indeed, it is quite big, and at least in the past, they allowed people to walk up to the top of it. Really? I don't know if you can do that anymore. I was able to climb to the top of that pyramid way back in 1986 when I visited the area. Still, lots of people go there and check it out. It's a pretty interesting place. And again, it's massive, it's huge, and it dominates the central city. It's the main structure there. You can't miss it. And while the exact purpose of the pyramid remains a mystery, archaeologists believe it was once topped with a temple and used as a place of worship. So yes, indeed, we don't know exactly why they built that pyramid. The purpose remains a mystery. It's still a mystery. But we've got archaeologists who study it. Those are people who study ancient civilizations, and they dig things out of the ground and try to figure out how civilizations existed and things like that, what they did, what they believed in. And archaeologists who have checked it out, they thought, maybe in the past there was a temple on top of the Pyramid of the Sun, and people went there to worship, to pray to their gods.
It's a pretty good guess. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to read the second part of our article.
Mayan Pyramids of Tikal, Guatemala. Another city of pyramids and monuments can be found in Tikal National Park in Guatemala. Tikal was once an important ceremonial center for the Mayans, but it fell into decline and was eventually abandoned. The ruins lay hidden for centuries until an expedition sent out by the Guatemalan government officially discovered them in 1848. Scattered among the jungle are more than 3,000 structures, 6 of which have been fully uncovered.
"第二部分我们看到单字 ceremonial， 这个字是形容词，指仪式的或是礼节的。例如，The role of mayor in many British towns is a largely ceremonial position. 英国许多小镇的镇长之位多半是仪式上的职位。或是 It is said that these statues were designed specifically for ceremonial purposes. 据说这些雕像是专门为仪式用途所设计的。另外，将这个字字尾的 inal 改成 y 就变成了名词 ceremony， 意思是仪式或是典礼，像是 The wedding ceremony was held in a beautiful park near the beach. 那场婚礼在海滩附近一座漂亮的公园中举行。或者 If the weather permits, the graduation ceremony will be held outside. 如果天气允许的话，毕业典礼将会在户外举行。
Okay, so we're still in Central America there. We're in Mexico seeing the pyramid at Teotihuacan. Now we're going to go down to Guatemala and we're going to check out the Mayan pyramids of Tikal. Guatemala. We should also mention that Mexico still has some other pyramids that are Mayan in the Yucatan Peninsula there. But, of course, if you want to go to Guatemala, you can check out this really impressive pyramid, which is at Tikal. Now, another city of pyramids and monuments can be found in Tikal National Park in Guatemala.
All right, so let's find out what we're going to see there. It says Tikal was once an important ceremonial center for the Mayans, but it fell into decline and was eventually abandoned. Wow, that's really interesting. As Roger explained, there's a lot of the history of these ancient peoples of America. I believe the Mesoamerican cultures, the Maya, the Aztec, the Inca, the Olmec, that we don't really know. So a lot of this is guesswork, or historians are piecing it together slowly like a big complicated puzzle. But just as we expect the Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico was used for worship, for religious reasons, Tikal was also an important ceremonial center for the Mayans. When we think of ceremonies, we think of religions, we think of worship. Something ceremonial is used in a ceremony. So in some kind of religious ceremony, they might say certain words or wear certain clothes or hold certain objects. And those objects or words or clothes are part of the ceremony. They are ceremonial. So a place where you have ceremonies would be a ceremonial center. This was important for the Mayans, but history moved on, times changed, and as we read there, it fell into decline and was eventually abandoned. Well, yeah, all cultures, all empires and kingdoms fall into decline at some point. They have their big period of success, and then people get lazy, wars happen, diseases happen, history moves on, and those cultures, those empires, weaken and then eventually fade away and get taken over by neighboring empires. And sometimes in that process, places, buildings, different things are abandoned. When something's abandoned, you leave it behind and you don't use it anymore, like a broken car by the side of the highway, or a house that you can't live in anymore because it's been damaged. You just leave it and walk away. So a lot of these temples were used and were very important at times, but then as times changed, they basically were no longer used and the people moved away.
Indeed. So, yeah, it fell into decline and became ruins. So the ruins lay hidden for centuries until an expedition sent out by the Guatemalan government officially discovered them in 1848. So, of course, that is a tropical area of the world, and the ruins lay there, and they were hidden under plants and trees that grew on top of them. So, of course, if a structure is abandoned and it's left there and nobody takes care of it, it kind of falls apart, it falls into decline and becomes ruins. Okay, so the ruins lay there, and they were hidden for centuries. Be careful here, lay here is the past tense of the verb to lie, which means they're just sitting there on the ground and they lay hidden for centuries, which means no one knew they were there. But then we had an expedition sent out by the Guatemalan government and they discovered them in 1848. You might think that Guatemala is a small country, but still lots of areas of Guatemala are in the jungle. So, of course, they did not know these things were there. And in 1848, the government sent out an expedition. Maybe they heard someone say, hey, there's kind of these old buildings in the jungle there. We don't know what they are. Can you guys come and check it out? So the government of Guatemala sent some people out there in 1848 and they discovered them. Or maybe the expedition was looking for something else and they discovered those ruins by accident.
Very, very interesting. I think that's kind of like the same situation with Angkor Wat, right? It was kind of hidden by the jungle for hundreds and hundreds of years till some explorers discovered it, cut the jungle away, and found this amazing temple complex. Scattered among the jungle are more than 3,000 structures, 6 of which have been fully uncovered. Wait, they discovered them in 1848 and have only uncovered 6? Those archaeologists have to work a little bit faster. I'm joking there, of course, but this is quite amazing. 3,000 structures. This shows you that this was basically the capital city of a once very powerful culture, a culture that basically disappeared and the jungle took over. They've managed to cut the jungle away from 6 probably of the bigger temples. This is what you would visit today if you went down there to Guatemala. But there's still so much to learn, which is kind of exciting when you think about the future.
So next time you go to Mexico and Guatemala, hey, you can check out the pyramids in these places. Okay, let's move on now to the third part, and we're going to wrap things up with the last paragraph. So please listen carefully.
Pyramids continue to amaze and mystify us. These ancient buildings have stood the test of time, and though we may not always know why or how they were constructed, we can be sure that they will be here for generations to come. As an old Arab proverb says, man fears time, but time fears the pyramids.
最后第3部分我们看到单字 mystify， 这个字是动词，指使迷惑不解或是使大为惊奇。举例来说 Many people are totally mystified by the latest policy. 许多人对最新的政策感到迷惑。也可以说 Gilbert was mystified by his girlfriend's message. Gilbert 对女友的讯息感到不解。另外补充 mystify 的相关形容词 mysterious, M-Y-S-T-E-R-I-O-U-S, mysterious, 意思是神秘的。例如 Wendy is going on a date with a mysterious stranger she met online. Wendy 要与一位她在网络上认识的神秘陌生人约会。或是 The fishing boat's mysterious disappearance in international waters alarms authorities. 该艘渔船于国际海域内离奇消失，让有关当局深感忧心。
Okay, so we sort of wrap things up here in the final paragraph. It says, pyramids continue to amaze and mystify us, which means basically they'll puzzle us. We're just not really sure exactly why those pyramids were built and why they existed, but still, we can imagine quite a bit.
And that's one of the wonderful things about us, all the questions and mysteries that still surround the pyramids. And another wonderful thing about these buildings are they're still there. As we learned in day 1, the pyramids in Egypt are the only one of the 7 ancient wonders of the world still standing. These pyramids in Central America and other pyramids as well in Egypt, they're still there. These ancient buildings, as we read, have stood the test of time. A lot of time has passed, thousands and thousands of years. They're still standing, so they stood the test of time. And though we may not always know why or how they were constructed, we can be sure that they will be here for generations to come. Yes, think of all the buildings that have come and gone since the time of the pyramids. Those buildings are gone, the pyramids aren't. And as we finish, here's a great line. As an old Arab proverb says, this is an old saying that Arab people in Arabia, you know, the area kind of around Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the desert lands of North Africa. As they say in this proverb, man fears time, but time fears the pyramids. So yes, we're all afraid of time. Time will run out for all of us. We'll die eventually, in other words. But time fears the pyramids. Time will probably go on or maybe end, but the pyramids will still be there.
So again, there are lots of pyramids to check out in various parts of the world. And not just pyramids, but there are also interesting ruins that exist all over the world that aren't pyramids, like the Great Wall of China and ancient structures in Rome and in Africa and places like that. So indeed, there are lots of things to check out, especially when travel restrictions start to be lifted. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. It's time now to listen to Hanny, our beloved Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文一开始写到 我们对于建造特奥蒂瓦坎这座史前城市的人所知甚少。那文中是用 little is known about 去表达说关于什么什么所知甚少。那么 little 在这边它是代名词，用来当主词用，表示说没有多少或是不多。那么 known 是形容词，去表达说已知的、知名的。好，那像我们可以造个例句说 little is known about the actor's personal life。关于那位演员的私生活知甚少，人们对他的私生活了解不多的意思。好，那么接着读到下一句，他说 The area contains a number of remarkably intact pyramids, the largest of which is the Pyramid of the Sun. 这个区域包含许多保存非常完好的金字塔，其中最大的一个是太阳金字塔。好，句子里面的 which 指的就是前面提到那些保存非常完好的金字塔， the largest of which 表示其中最大的。我们再看到课文第二部分的最后一句，他写到 Scattered among the jungle are more than 3,000 structures, 6 of which have been fully uncovered. 散布在丛林中有超过3000座建筑物，其中6座已被完全挖掘出来。那这边的 which 指的就是前面提到那个3000多座建筑物， 6 of which 表示其中的6座。好，那像这样的用法就是用带有修饰语的关系代名词来引导关系子句去对先行词做补充说明。我们就用这个关系代名词 which 来做说明哦。which 当关系代名词可以用来代指前方的事物，也就是先行词。那 which 的前面再加上量词啊、数字啊、百分比或是最高级等等，加上 of 就可以表达所占的比例。像我们说 two of which 就可以表达先行词其中2个， some of which 表示先行词其中一些， the best of which 表示先行词其中最好的，还有 1/3 of which 表示先行词其中1/3等等。好，那我们造个例句。He showed us a jar filled with marbles, some of which are extremely rare. 他向我们展示一个装满弹珠的罐子，其中有一些非常罕见。好，那特别注意，这个用法呢是在对先行词做补充说明，这是属于非限定用法，我们就记得要用逗号把它跟主要子句隔开，逗号隔开之后就表示它是做补充说明用咯。好，那再补充一下，如果我们的关系代名词指称的先行词是人的话，那这个 which 就是要改用 whom， 也就是说我们可以用量词啊、数字、百分比、最高级等等，加上 of whom 去引导关系子句。举例来说 They have 3 daughters, the youngest of whom will be entering college next year. 他们有3个女儿，其中最小的女儿呢，明年就要上大学咯。好，那以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Remarkably, Penny did poorly in school but grew up to become remarkably successful. Intact. Not much of the city remained intact after it was bombed. Massive. A massive rock tumbled down the side of the mountain. Dominate. At nearly 150 meters tall, the church dominates the old town. Worship. We were invited to join in the act of worship, but we declined. Abandon. The town was abandoned when all of the nearby gold had been mined. Ruin. The ruins of the ancient city are now a popular tourist attraction. Expedition. 3 members of the expedition died within the first week.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter today, and the question is, why do you think the ancient pyramids mentioned in the article were built in that shape? And what do the pyramids reveal about the civilizations that built them?
I think the pyramids were built in that particular shape because when you're piling a bunch of rocks on top of each other, a pyramid is a good shape to use. If you try to put them all on top of each other like a big tall tower, they'll fall over quite quickly. So I think pyramids are pyramids because it's just a good shape to pile rocks in.
Indeed, and I think the civilizations that built these pyramids, of course, obviously were building them to last for a long time. If you build these huge cubes in the middle of the desert, well, they're going to fall down because of uneven weight distribution, and the same goes for building large spheres. They'll eventually crumble into a bunch of rubble. But if you build a pyramid, it's a nice, stable structure, and it's going to be there for centuries and centuries.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.